What's up, class, and welcome to another lesson in the No Mod Shop class here on the Schooled Zone. Now that the holidays are all over, I'm glad to be making these videos again. Now, I mentioned in a few past videos and in the comment section that I was going to be doing an elevator video of sorts. Not exactly a deep dive, but just taking a closer look at a couple of different angles that have to do with elevation. And at some point or another, everybody wants to build something way up high. You know, human aspiration for building towards the sky dates way back before the skyscrapers to the ancient Babylonians. So in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at elevators as well as alternatives to getting your settlers up into elevated builds. Now, some of you may not like the floating type builds, which is perfectly understandable. Everybody's got their own style, but maybe you want to build up on one of those bridge settlements or way up to the 20-story limit at Abernathy Farm or something. Well, all those mazes of stairs can be a little impractical sometimes, and with the Contraptions DLC, 2, 3, and 4-story elevators were introduced. They're super cool, and I've tried to incorporate them into several of my builds, but they're not without their limitations and even glitches. So let's take a field trip over to my Vault 42 build for the first part of this video and have a closer look. Alright, here we are at my Vault 42 build. But before we start calling those elevators down, let's start off with the answer to a little puzzle. Several months ago, I posted a cryptic video on my Twitter account asking anyone if they could tell what was going on in this little video clip right here. Now, I got several interesting responses, but no one quite hit the nail on the head. The closest was from a viewer named Punlord, who said, maybe it's a floating object or the shadow of an object and just glitches and follows you. He was very, very close, but not 100% because he left out one critical element. If anyone happened to get the answer 100% correct, I was going to send him one of those unclaimed games for my 50k sub giveaway. Now, I'm going to be doing more of those kind of puzzles in 2018 over on my Twitter account, so follow me over there if you haven't already. So what was going on in that clip anyway? Well, it was an example of the elevator glitch. More specifically, it was the shadow of the 3-story elevator buttons that had somehow started floating way above my build from the elevator that's right there behind me, and that, my friends, is one of the 2 major problems with the elevators in the game. It's a glitch that Bethesda never bothered to fix. I'm sure there's probably unofficial patches or mods that will do that, but not in the vanilla game. Now, why does it happen? How often does it happen? And what can we do about it? Well, I'm not entirely sure why it happens, to be honest. My guess is that the buttons are not actually connected to the polygon mesh of the elevator frame. They're just sort of superimposed there. And then when you ride the elevator up and then fast travel away or get down to the ground without resetting the elevator back to ground level, then the next time you return to the settlement, where it goes through one of its funky loading episodes, you know, the dreaded ones where all the junk items fall through everything, then the elevator starts to load back at ground level for a second before it shifts everything back up to where you last left it. The buttons don't do that though, they stay where they were, but then get pushed up even higher to match the upward reset of the elevator back to the upward position. Now this will continue and continue to happen until your buttons are so high up in the air you lose sight of them. Now this is just an educated guess, but it's a very frustrating problem nonetheless. How often does it happen? Well, fortunately not that often, but it does happen, and it gets worse the higher you go over your settlement size limit. But it's the unpredictability of it that makes it so annoying. But is there a way to fix it without mods? Well, sort of. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do right here, okay? First of all, if possible, try and ride the elevators down before you fast travel away, all right? See, I didn't do that right here, you know, so that's a bad example. You know, I should have ridden it down before I fast traveled away. The glitch will still happen, but a whole lot less often if you do that. And by the way, there's no truth to the rumors that it only happens with the higher story elevators. I've had it happen to me with the 2-story elevators too. Here, let me turn off Curie real quick. So that's a minor prevention method, but it'll save you some hassle. The only solution I know of, which is why I'm not too worried about it, you know, with what I just did, is that you can basically store and replace the elevator and it'll fix the problem. That is, of course, if it's not practical to load an old save, which, you know, often it's not. So what I've gotten into the habit of doing with all my settlements where I build an elevator is that I build it in such a way that I can store it and replace it without having to dig around it or, ruin any glitched pieces or anything. Because, if you've experienced this problem and you've gotten frustrated with it, the only reason why this glitch isn't just a 10-second solution is because, many players have built elaborate structures around their elevators that don't allow them to quickly and easily snap a new elevator into place or wire it back up again. So let me show you real quick what I have to do with this particular elevator if I want to store it and replace it. Alright, so I'm going to head into workshop mode, and the first thing I'm going to do is grab this atrium wall right here, and I'm just going to move it out of the way. Alright, let's place it right there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this atrium wall, and I'm going to move it right there. Okay, so they're basically just, I could have stored them, but we're going to snap them right back into place. Okay, so here's the elevator, all right, and right now it seems to be behaving, but pretty soon those buttons right there will start floating way up in the sky as they've done on several occasions, especially as I was building the place up. So what I'm going to do here is just pretend that they're glitched at the moment, and I'm just going to store the elevator, okay? All right, now as you can see, just because we're here at the moment, I have my generator down there, and there's a connector that's hooked up to a junction conduit right there, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back into structures, over to elevators. We should have a 4-floor elevator stored right here. As you can see, there's a little 1 down there. That means I don't have to rebuild it, which is good because I'm out of steel at the moment. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. The game crashed on me. We are here at Vault 42, and I've talked about how I went way over the size limit. Anyway, it's back to a sunny day anyway. We can see a little easier. And what I'm going to do now is break out that one elevator I have, that 4-floor elevator, and I'm just going to pull it towards me, and it should snap into place. All right, hopefully I won't embarrass myself here. There we go. See? Pop that right back into place. Grab this wall. This hopefully should also snap right back into place. Nope, almost. Nope, there we go. And then this one right here should also just snap. Perfect. Okay, and then I gotta hook it up real quick. Whoops. All right, put that right over here. And just, this is easy. Just attach wire. Bada bang. Come on. Excellent. Okay, and we have a working elevator. Perfect. Okay, so not too bad. I learned the hard way at another settlement of mine that if you don't plan ahead, it's so easy to replace like that you'll be much more frustrated, okay? So that's my best non-modded solution to fixing the elevator glitch. It's just build it in such a way that you can quickly replace it, and if it ever does glitch, all you have to do is just store it, pop it right back into place, and rewire it up again, okay? So now, on to the second glitch about elevators. Settlers don't use them. If you guys have seen a settler use an elevator in one of your settlements, then let us know down in the After School Club, because as far as I can tell, they're just unable to interact with the buttons. Totally unfortunate and a huge oversight on Bethesda's part, but what are you gonna do? So that leads us into the second half of this video, and that's how to get your settlers into elevated builds. Now for that, we're gonna head over to my UFO build at Somerville Place. Interestingly enough, planning this video was part of the inspiration for that Somerville Place build, because in the case of the UFO, it doesn't have an elevator or really any way to reach it from the ground other than through fast travel. Yet, when we arrived, you're gonna see settlers up there, so hop on the school bus and I'll meet you over there. All right, I was only expecting a couple of them up here, but looks like they're all up here now. Well, for those of you who watched my little casino display video, this is the reason I built that. Well, and also to show you how to glitch the counters into the slot machines. But this is primarily the reason why I built this up here, and took out those chairs, was to show you how to get settlers up to elevated builds. They won't come up here on their own, but the trick is to give them some interactable things that they can play with or use and then they will automatically spawn up into your elevated build. Oh, look at that. Another one just popped into place. Wow. See that? He just appeared out of nowhere. So what I do is I usually set up these slot machines or other interactable things, scavenger benches, various other things that settlers can interact with. And then as soon as they are up into the area, I start assigning them to things. So for example, I assigned her to this soda fountain right here. I assigned various other settlers to these beds. And once you start doing that, then they're just going to make your elevated build their home, and they'll almost never appear down there. They still will appear sometimes, but they'll mostly be occupying this space. So that is basically the trick on how to get settlers up into elevated builds. These settlers now are completely engrossed with these slot machines, and when it's time to sleep, they've got these assigned beds, so they will always pretty much spawn up here now and pop around like that. Some people say that the fast travel mat will also attract the settlers. I have my fast travel mat hidden under this fluorescent light, as you can see right there. But the more reliable way to do it is to give them interactable objects and then assign them to things once they get up there. They don't have to just be beds. You can build, for example, trading shops and things like that. So that's the trick to getting them up there, because they won't use the elevator. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. Hope it helped give you some insight into the intricacies of the elevator, how to repair that glitch, and how to get your settlers up into elevated builds without stairs or, elevators. Be back next week with another awesome lesson plan. In the meantime, be sure to throw a like on the video and share it around. And as always, happy building and class dismissed.